Hi, my name is Debbie Phillips, and I am sheltering in Amarillo, Texas. Today I'd like to tell you a story about a very brave and courageous woman, Marion Brock Blumenschein. The resources I'm going to be using to help me tell this story are Mark A. Shear's book, The Journey of a People, Volume 3, and Marion Blumenschein's book, Home in Honduras. Marion Brock married John Blumenschein in 1942. John was a medical doctor of obstetrics and gynecology. He was also an elder in the RLDS Church. Marion graduated from Graceland College and Iowa State College, and she was a home economics teacher. They had 5 children: Brent, Beth, Tom, Laura, Joe, and Audrey. As a family, they literally took the call to build a Zionic community in Central America. In October 1957, the family arrived in Honduras near Lake Yohoa. With the purchase of 440 acres, Marion and her family lived among the people in the valley with the malarial mosquito, whooping cough, bacteria dysentery, and a strain of the flu that turned quickly into pneumonia, and especially afflicted children. Marion cooked such foods such as rice, beans, squash, sweet corn, and eggs on an adobe stove. She and her family slept on straw mats in a crude A-frame hut. Due to the hut having no chimney and Marion's first attempt to cook on the stove, the hut filled with smoke, to the amusement of the local people. After planting a garden with a crude stick, she learned that a fence was needed to keep the hogs out of the first destroyed garden. With the family's goal to establish Zion, the Blumenscheins began worship services in Mogote, a community of about 500 people located 3 miles southwest of La Suiza. John taught a Bible and Book of Mormon class, and Marion and the 3 children started a junior church school. Before John Blumenschein left to go to Honduras, he was diagnosed with liver cancer. The surgeon had shared with Marion that the cancer had spread to the lymphatics, and the growth was the size of an egg. The doctor had told her that John might not be expected to live more than 2 years. In April 1958, John was beginning to experience pain in his lower left side, as well as losing weight. And in a conversation one day, she discovered that John had not been told. The 2 years were coming up in September. And Marion shares about this in her book. John and I were inclined to reminisce. Remember Columbia and the college people meeting at our house? That was when we first talked about a mission to Latin America, John recalled. Yes, we said we'd wait until the children were through college. Tom was a baby then. I guess we'd still be waiting if it hadn't been for your illness. Do you ever wonder, John, if we made a mistake? No. If I had known about the spot on the liver, I think I'd have gone back into surgery. But then we can't tell about these things. Or did you mean coming here? It's what I've dreamed of for years. I chose medicine in the first place because I thought it would enable me to serve. And then the idea of taking the gospel to the descendants of Nephi has been a challenge. Yes, but you were never commanded to go. God didn't speak to you and say, "This is my will," and the church officials didn't send you. I've always believed in that scripture which says, men should be anxiously engaged in a good cause, and do many things of their own free will. I thought we were doing the right thing. Of course, it doesn't look so good right now. I'm sure God's going to make you well, I said. I haven't had that assurance. But we have a toehold here, and if you'll only stay a little while, someone will come to help you. Whatever happens, don't any one of you criticize the church officials. Well, after his death in December of 1958, Marion stayed as John had asked her to. In the summer of 1960, a 15-bed hospital was built on the Blumenschein property. Marion stayed on the compound through the mid-1970s and continued her educational ministry until a public school was opened in the small village of Horconcitos, a mile from La Buena Fe. Hurricane Fifi almost killed Marion. She survived by clinging on to the roof of the clinic. When the flooding stopped, she left La Buena Fe. The Blumenschein mission in Honduras occurred on the cusp of a dramatic turn from being simply a church with an international presence to becoming a truly international church. The 5 mission initiatives invite people to Christ, abolish poverty and end suffering, pursue peace on earth, develop disciples to serve, and experience congregations in mission were implemented in the mission of Marion and John Blumenschein. As we are in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, I wonder about that strain of flu that caused pneumonia among the Lake Yahoa people and children. It sounds very similar to the virus we're fighting. I think if Marion were here today to speak to us about the COVID-19 pandemic that we are experiencing, she would possibly say, "Hang on, you will survive this." 2 interesting side notes. Marion Brock Blumenschein is Dave Brock's aunt. She is his father's oldest sister. Another interesting side note is that Dr. Pamela Stewart from Garden City, Kansas, would come to visit the Amarillo congregation before she would fly to Honduras to volunteer at La Buena Fe Mission. Thank you so much.